I'm back in the town of Brixham on the South Devon coast. Today we're going to be walking westward to Dartmouth. If you're using public transport, I took the train to Paignton, then a 15-minute bus ride out here to Brixham. At the other end there are regular buses from Kingswear, just across the river from Dartmouth, back into Paignton in the train station. Very accessible walk. Brixham is still a working fishing port. A number of the fishing boats moored up over there. It's also a popular base for boat owners. Past the marina we took some steps up to this residential road, and we follow this for a short distance with the sea on our left behind those houses. We're heading up past the Bury Head Hotel. Wonderful views across Tor Bay. We've climbed a short steep path up into the woods here, leading us through to Bury Head. As we reach the top, we're presented with these panoramic views right across there to Torquay, Paignton, Goodrington, and we're only 1.3 miles from the start. On Bury Point is the old fort with the fortifications and the cannons still, and you can wander here and explore it. And at the guardhouse inside the fort is a very popular cafe in the high season. Well, we're looking back at Bury Head. We've passed it, continuing along the coast path. Quite a number of people out, but it is high season. A month or two's time you'll be out here and you'll be completely on your own. We're now passing through the southern part of Bury Head Fort. Much less of this now exists. And now looking forward, this is the coastline we will be following to get round to Brixham, and we're just 2 miles from where we started. Looking back, we can just make out the flagpole at the end of the second Bury Head fort that we stopped at. And looking forward, we can see that little beach down there and the houses on top of the cliffs. That will be St Mary's Bay. We should be in there shortly. There are a few of these stone stiles on the path to cross. We're now looking down onto St Mary's Bay. The headland out there is what we have to get round. Well, if you want a holiday home up here, here's your chance. St Mary's. We're heading on down this path to the left. Just a glimpse of the route we've come from along those cliff tops. Looking down on St Mary's Bay, it's a long way down. Well, on the left here is a very steep flight of stairs that heads down to the beach. But it's the only way I could see, so there's no circular route, and the coast path continues along the top here. Now, looking down on the bay, there are a few people that have braved those steep steps, and have to brave them again to get back up again. very difficult not to keep looking back. It is just so picturesque. We have a clear view forward now of the various bits of cliff path we have to follow right round the headland as far as you can see. Another 8 miles. Nasty little climb coming up to get over that cliff. Down beneath us is a little bay that looks inaccessible. Not almost inaccessible, but inaccessible. Well, that was quite a steep climb. At the top here it tells me that was South Down Cliff. Well, we're just coming down to Man's Sands. Very steep path down. And you can see how the path goes up the other side. We're just coming down a very steep path to Man's Sands. And you can see the route goes back up the hill the other side. A view back from the way we've come up over the top of those cliffs. Looking back at Man's Bay, it's a very steep climb out whichever side you go, but it's also very beautiful here. In front of us is the next bay, very steep path down into it and a very steep one back up the other side. So this is Woodrush. Another view of Woodrush a bit higher up the hill. And we've just completed 6.5 miles. Just over the 7 miles. And there's another steep descent down to this little cove, and then we go back up the other side. And ahead of us we have another steep climb right up to the top, where you can see that silhouette of a man standing. Now looking down on another little cove. I think that's Pudcombe Cove. We won't be going down there even if it's accessible. We're carrying on round these cliff tops ahead. We're following the path down this steep track through the woods. We can just get a glimpse down into the bay from the other side. 8.5 miles. Looking back on the way we've just been walking. We're now walking through part of an old fort, and we have this long staircase to climb. We're now following this path downward through some woods. It's always ominous when you go downwards, because you know that somewhere along the line you've got to go back up again. But it's very pleasant. very shady. Way down beneath us in this little cove, you can probably just make out there are a few people having a picnic. I have no idea how they got down there, although there is a boat, so maybe they came ashore on that little boat. We're now getting a glimpse of the entrance to the Dart River. This is the Dart Estuary. Path comes down past some sort of folly. And then in front of us is yet another very serious flight of stairs upwards. Well, after that last steep climb, we've ended up now on a small private road that runs for the next 3/4 of a mile into Kingswear. It should be easy going now. It's been quite a tough old walk, particularly as the sun's been shining and been very warm all day. But there are some very steep climbs in it. Well, that's the end of the walk. I've reached Kingswear. Kingswear is directly over the River Dart from Dartmouth, which is where we're looking now. And that was 12 miles and pretty stiff. Some very hard climbs on that walk, but very enjoyable, fabulous views, and well worth doing, to be recommended. And I'm going to leave you with these views of Dartmouth and the River Dart, and I'm going to get the steam train back to Paignton. Till the next time.